let me say a good Tuesday morning to one and all. How's everybody doing this morning? Hope you're doing a-okay. It's Tuesday, the 21st day of May, 2024. Welcome to this edition of To The Point this morning. Those of you listening via Classic Radio, once again, hope all is well. Those of you viewing GBN TV, hope all is well. Those of you via our social media platforms, Facebook page, YouTube channels, GBN's webpage, good morning to you and welcome. I'm your host, GT. I'll be with you for the next hour. So it's Opposition Tuesday this morning here on the program, and representing the opposition this morning, we have Senator Norland Cox with us. Let's say go over and say good morning to Senator Cox. Senator Cox, good morning. How you doing, sir?
Pleasant morning, GTA. Pleasant morning to your viewers, listeners. It's a pleasure to be on as usual.
All right.
It's a great day.
All right, man. And it's always a pleasure to have you on the program also. Let's get a conversation rolling this morning. How is the sister Isle of Carriacou? Carriacou. We know, we've been having that issue of water problems here on the mainland. How is it over there for the folks in Carriacou? I don't understand there's a desalination plant and so forth. Is there any major concern in relation to water issue over in Carriacou? I've not been hearing the complaints, so probably there's something I'm not hearing that you want to share this morning as relates to Carriacou.
Well, Carriacou, because historically we normally get water through rainwater harvesting.
Yes.
So it is customary for us to experience dry spells, but we have been doing some work over the years to try to alleviate that, and not just to alleviate the shortage of water just for needs, but also for business to grow, for the opportunities for agriculture. Hence the reason why investments was made in getting a desalination plant for both Carriacou and Pidimantneck. As regards to this year is one of the hardest dry seasons. I think the last time we had a dry season as rough as this year was in 2010. So like say every 10, 15, 20 years, you always have this spell where you have an extended dry period. So what happens is that you have limited rainfall for the previous year. So when you move into the dry season and the dry season extends longer, you have limited water supply. So that is where the challenge is. Historically too, because of who we are as Carriacouans, persons who have water supply, they would share with one another. There might be a house that might be closed up. Person might be a family member, a friend, be able to get water from that person to share. So that happens along with support from the desalination plant. So that is basically what is happening right now. What I do know that the plant, of course, you would have maintenance periods when you'll be down for maintenance, something like that. So, but there is a greater demand for water right now on the plants. So you would find that is a challenge for now as well. But there is a water shortage. The trucks private trucks have been carrying water for the past couple of months for a number of persons. For those who could afford it, of course. So it's tough. So everybody's hoping. We know Corpus Christi is coming up, and based on our tradition, our culture, we know that we expect rain right thereafter. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that we should expect some rain in the not too distant future. So to ease that water pressure challenges for us in here and Carriacou. And Pidimantneck is a little bit different. Fortunately for Pidimantneck, the desalination plant has 100% coverage throughout the island of Pidimantneck. So once the plant is running, persons are going to have access to water, additionally to what they have from the storage. So that is a little bit a different situation with Pidimantneck. In Carriacou, the coverage with the water supply from the desal plant is somewhere around maybe just 30 or 40% or so thereabout. So you have a lot of homes who do not really have access to the water supply. So it has been tough. I did made a call, I think, at the parliament level, asking for some support for persons from at the government level, and I did also made a social media post requesting such. Some persons felt that it's as if, that call was for government to just take over and just bring water for everybody. But that call was made in the light of the fact that we know that there are persons who have we have shut-ins. We have senior citizens who are not as readily and able to move, or maybe don't have the financial resources. So within that regard, I mean, the Department of Social Services will have all the information for persons who are challenged. And so I think it was an excellent opportunity for the ministry to step in to give some support in that regard, but some persons saw it differently. So, those things happen.
All right. Now, you did mention individuals of a certain nature and so forth, individuals who may be having the challenges of on not having the storage capacity as they may like to. Now, you being, of course, within the Sister Isle of Carriacou, what I've been hearing from individuals, how are they coping with that in particular?
As I said, I mean, it's tough, but it's something that we are accustomed to. I know that in 2010, which was really, really, really bad, at that time the NDC government was in power, they actually barged water to Carriacou. I recall that I was managing a hospital at the time, and so we had a lot of water challenges. So a lot of the water, a good portion of the water that came up from the barge came to the hospital at the time. So, as I said, the desalination plant would have removed some of that challenge, but it is still there because the plant, the demand cannot meet the demand from the community. And I'm saying, I mean, I made a request for support in the sense that the ministry doesn't have, I don't think that they have to do anything extra to bring that little extra support to persons who may need that little push, and which is not really a large number of people. The ministry have truck, the ministry have water tank, and the desal plant makes water. Once it's operational, water is there. So there is not anything outside of the ministry's purview that it cannot handle at this point in time to meet some of our elderlies, some of the disabled people who might have water challenges. And I said that information is readily available, but I do know that they do have some challenges. So you find what is happening now, a lot around this time, a lot of people coming out with gastro as well, because the water is not the best in terms of quality right now. A lot of dust in the air, and we had a lot of episodes of Sahara dust as well. So all this is a multitude of factors that is contributing to that situation around this time. So it was just a genuine call to provide us support. It's something that was done in the past. Successive governments would have done it, so it wasn't anything new. But some persons felt that it was something unreasonable. But you could, those things happen.
All right. Well, happy that you made the necessary clarifications there on that in terms of what your posting actually meant. Let's of course divert a wee bit now. Of course, still keeping our conversation on Carriacou, but we of course get bypass the water issue for now. Now, a couple of days ago, we had the New National Party, of course, having a press conference and speaking a whole lot about their 40th anniversary. As it relates to of course, the party and the party as an institution, everything else that goes along with it. Let's get into that a wee bit. I want to also talk a wee bit of the achievements of the New National Party, in terms of the Sister Isle of Carriacou and Petit Martinique over the past 40 years. Let's get into the conversation this morning. Let's talk about the 40th anniversary as we start off. Lots was said within there. The highlights of it, I understand, it's actually going to be within the month of December, right? If I'm right about that.
For the next few months.
For the next few months. I think it was something mentioned of the LMP Day or the sort like that within the month of December. Let's kick into the 40th anniversary of the New National Party. Tell us from how the whole initiative and how it's going to be flowing through.
Well, first of all, I think I want to really register my profound honor and privilege to be part of the National Party organization. It's a really very, very important privilege to be part and to be contributing to the legacy of the party. I also want to make the call to ask persons to come and join and to be part of a successful organization, political organization. One that gives everybody an opportunity to be who they want to be in the party and how they can contribute to make the party successful going forward. And I say this in the context of for the short time that I've been a member of the party, which is just inside 10 years, I've been a member, a card-carrying member of the party, and in 2014 I became a member of the party, and so December of 2024 will make it 10 years since I've been a member of the National Party, and without any regret whatsoever. Mr. Party would have taught me a lot, also provided a number of opportunities for me, a number of platforms for me to grow and develop and to understand and to also to enhance the ways in which I can support and contribute to the development of this beautiful nation of ours. And it's something that I always tell people, there's always a lot of talk about the politics and the challenging side of it, but also there are the sides when you as an organization to be able to establish certain things, to be put certain things in place to impact the lives of people, to see young people benefit, to see young people get sports scholarships, to see them transform their lives. I think those are the things that stuck with me, and that is one of the things that continue to propel me to be part of an organization like this, where decisions that we make at the party and actions that we take impact the lives of people every day. I think that is one of the things that I'm happy of being part of. So in terms of Carriacou and Petit-Martinique, the party has such a rich history, a rich legacy in terms of achievements. I'm not certain this program is long enough.
Well, you think the hour would not be able to accommodate the amount of achievements from the new national party for the hour? Well, we can still give it a go. We can still see how much we can get in.
It's a very lengthy list of initiatives that we as a party, and I must say our longest serving parliamentary rep, who is Honorable Elvin Nimrod, who has passed to great beyond. We are also having, as part of the activities, we are having a memorial service for him later on in the year as well.
All right.
Just to remember him for his contribution and work towards the development of Carriacou and Petit-Martinique. And if we just want to look at some major initiatives in terms of, we could probably start.
Well, let's kick it off in terms of what stands out for you the most. You saying that you have been a card-bearing member of the New National Party for the last 10 years, and we're talking 40 years now of NMP.
And I could speak to a lot. So we could start off first. I recall the entire road network in Carriacou was dot road. You name it, through every village was dot road. The main roads was literally dot. And I had an opportunity to see that turn into a paved concrete roadway, and that was done by the National Party under Elvin Nimrod. That was a major road development achievement for Carriacou and Petit-Martinique. And persons who are of the age will remember that. Like last year, we did a road, last time when we were in Port, just before we left government, we did the Limle road. Since I know myself as a little boy, gonna look after animals and pass it, that road was never repaired, and the National Party were able to do that road. So I'm telling you, roads is a major infrastructure achievement for us in Carriacou. Also, the senior citizens home for the aged, on the social side, and strengthening support for elderlies. A brand new home, state-of-the-art home for our senior citizens. That is a major achievement for us as a party. We can also talk about Hillsborough Fish Market. That was also constructed under the National Party government again as well. That is a major achievement. Also with lockers, they had lockers for fishermen as well. That was also constructed to provide support. We could talk about other support for fishermen, but we just keep around some of the major things. We have the Carriacou Multipurpose Center and Library. It's a resource center with a conference room, a computer laboratory, and a library at the bottom, downstairs. That is a critical achievement for us as the National Party. The Tourism Welcome Center, when you're in the heart of Hillsborough, that again also was done by the National Party. The new port, the Tier Bay port in Haverhill, that's a fantastic facility. It's over 3 or 4 acres of land that is used to have a modern port with a ferry terminal to receive persons properly, well seated, sheltered. All the facilities are there. I think that is a major achievement. I know that there have been a lot of discussions around that particular initiative. And one of the things that from the consultations when they were having them regarding the movement of the port had to do with the ability of the port to grow, to be able to receive containers safely, to do operations safely. GD, I recall the Port of Hillsborough, while it's a very important port, has been for Carriacou. But I recall there were a number of issues with that port. I recall people coming off the Osprey and walking overboard in the night, actually going around the opposite direction and going overboard. Some persons fell between the jetty and the boat too as well, trying to disembark. So those are some of the challenges. Also, when you have cargo, it was like a jam session. Everybody coming back on the jetty one time, all the vehicles parking, because everybody wanted cargo, everybody wanted stuff. And this person then moving off because they're waiting for my stuff. It's only 2 boxes that I get, so I'm moving. And it was always chaos.
All right.
on boat days, especially when the cargo boats come from the mainland. So having that port, having that big facility, proper parking, everything, that has alleviated all that congestion, even the incidents of persons falling overboard, that has completely eliminated that issue. And so I think in all, that development is necessary.
All right. Senator Cox, I'm going to actually, of course, take a pin there for a wee bit. We drew for a break because, there's so much to talk about. We have an entire hour and we still have about 45 minutes left, so there's so much more we can talk about. Let's take that break and then we come back with your chat some more. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point here on Classic Radio GBN TV. We'll be right back after the break.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for Grenada to laugh again. Heritage Theatre presents Spice Laugh Comedy Bash 2024, Saturday, June 22nd and Sunday, 23rd June at the Trade Center in Grandance, and on Sunday, 30th June at the Deluxe Cinema in Grenville. Showtime, 7 p.m. every time, featuring some of Grenada's best ambassadors of comedy: Robert White, Dillion Walters, Kareem Alexis, Dale Bola, and other outstanding comedic performances, all coming to knock you off your seats with laughter. Get your tickets now. Bring out the entire family. Tickets are $60 and available at Mitchell's Pharmacy in Grandance, Gittins Health and Wellness at all outlets, Art and Soul Bookstore, Spiceland Mall, 3B's Shoe Store, downtown St. George's, Calico Supermarket, Grenville and Sutairs, St. David's Pharmacy, and Go to Fed. It's time for Spice Laugh Comedy Bash 2024.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back, Senator Cox with us this morning. Of course, it's Opposition Tuesday here on To The Point this morning. And in this level of the conversation this morning, we're talking about 40 years of the new National Party and their 40th anniversary. And we're talking to Senator Cox. We're talking about focusing a wee bit and mainly on the achievements of the NMP within the Sister Isle of Carriacou over the past 40 years. Senator Cox, you spoke of a few of the achievements. You spoke of the fish market. You spoke of the new port. You spoke of the roads that were, of course, put in place there by the new National Party, starting off from the late Elton Nimrod and so forth. We had the of course, NMP representative. That's of course, Mrs. Maturin and so forth. And moving forward with the NMP in terms of their achievements in Carriacou over 40 years, would you say that these achievements that have thus far stood out a whole lot for the folks of Carriacou over the last 40 years in reference to the new National Party being the one putting all those achievements there?
I must say, GT, without a shadow of a doubt, quite certainly it has, and it stands out. And those achievements are there. They are visible. They are present. Persons are using them today. They have changed the landscape. Like, for example, another major achievement is the daycare. We opened a daycare child development center so that young mothers have some place so that the kids can be there safely while they're going to their work. They don't have to worry about having somebody at the home, but having the kids to develop together with other kids with trained personnel. So that also is an achievement of the National Party. I mean, we have the Ministry of Carriacou and Diplomatic Affairs. That's a big achievement, the establishment of a ministry for Carriacou and Diplomatic Affairs and local government. That also is a significant achievement in itself, giving Carriacou some definitiveness in terms of managing its affairs. I think for the first time ever in the history of the country, that Carriacou now had its own separate budget, it had its own mandate, it has its own permanent secretary who can make decisions and do certain things on its own. I think that if that itself is not a major achievement, I think, above everything else, giving Carriacou more autonomy, Carriacou and Diplomatic more autonomy to operate, I think that was a significant achievement by our party to have done. We could talk about also the hospital, health centers, building a new health center in Leicester, renovating all the health centers, including Pedimatic, refurbishment of the Princess Royal Hospital. That was just done under Kindra's watch. Also the health center in Hillsborough. So we have much more. We spoke about the desalination plants. That is big. We just had also some additional solars done in Linglet that was just implemented by this government. It was concluded by this government, this project. But that was a project that was conceptualized and started under Simon Steele, who was the Minister for the Environment at the time, the solar PV battery project. So that's a big project. Scholarships, GD, most our engineers now, doctors, or teachers, even permanent secretaries, all receive scholarships under the National Party administration. And I say this in the context that every time I come on this program, I've been asking and calling for why the names of the persons who received scholarship have not been disclosed. But they respond to everything else except that. So, I say it again, I think there is great value in letting people know who were desirous of getting a scholarship for a number of reasons, number of benefits behind that. So I'll leave that alone for now. But I want to talk again about support for the farmers. The Carriacou Farmers Association was established right after Hurricane Ivan. And I was part and parcel in helping the association to be formulated. And a land for building the Farmers Association headquarters, and that would also be for the commercial activities as well. That was donated under the National Party government. Added to that, a line item in the budget was established then and there to give financial support towards the Carriacou Farmers Association every year since then to now, to support towards the building and other activities to help the association thrive and grow. So a number of support for in the farming community have been done, but I just single out that as
all right. Let me also ask you in terms of it's youth development in Carriacou. Tell us about some of the achievements that was put out, of course, or implemented per se by the new National Party in terms of youth development in Carriacou. Tell us about that over the past 40 years.
As regards to youth developments, GT, as you know, youth is a major program. Youth program has been a major program for the National Party, and a lot of those programs are driven through the Youth Ministry of Youth and support through the IMAN program. Training, we had training for in excess of over 100 young men and women who receive training in STCW who can get a certificate to go and work in the maritime sector. All that was with support from different organizations who and the government of Grenada, through CDB, through the BNTF. So all that we did all of that program to create training so that persons have an opportunity to be able to get a job on their own and to move forward. And so sometimes when you hear the talk about that we giving people handout, I mean, I just laugh, that because I know the kind of work that we did in terms of scholarships for young people, support for youths. Those are major initiatives. Support for persons with businesses. We had business support centers for persons to get opportunity who have current businesses to grow it and for new businesses to start, to help persons to carry themselves to move forward, to learn. Keeping all those programs were there to support our youths. I say this in the context of what would have transpired with the recent support from the SES program. A number of young persons who were also excited about accessing support from the SES have not been able to successfully. We asked, what was the results from the SES? How much persons were able to get support? What are the areas in which the businesses were initiated? I mean, if you don't want to call the person who get the support, that's fine, But I think it's important that persons understand that if support is there for them as young people, they should be able to have access to it. And it should not be one way young persons are given false hope. And that is how they feel as regards to the SES. I just don't even want to go on to Pity Matlick because I don't want to leave out Pity Matlick. So much work has been done in Pity Matlick. We had a serious situation where you had a serious erosion taking place in Pity Matlick, which was threatening the main roadway and also the power station, the lone power station island. And we successfully prepared a project and had the implementation of that area being redone. We have also the support from one of the achievements of the party again is a pavilion in Pity Matlick and a resource center in Pity Matlick, a welcome center and pavilion. That also was a major achievement under the National Party.
Okay.
So there are a number of things that I want to speak about. Also, there are some things that I must say that from my recollection, one of the areas that I believe that we could have done more work on, and which is also still a challenge now, has to do with our response to fires duty. It's still been a challenge for a lot of successive governments. We had brought New National Party had brought new fire engine to Pity Matlick, new fire engine to Carriacou more than once. There is also a new one for the airport. We didn't talk about the airport expansion of the airport runway, refurbishment of the airport terminal. That is also under the National Party as well. So, but in terms of one of the areas that I believe that we more work we'll want to see done is our response to fires. That is a major challenge throughout. We had started that. The last discussion when we were in government, we were responding appropriately. We were establishing a new fire department in St. David's that should be operational by now. I know that we had already placed some orders for some new fire engines. I can't recall hearing those engines came at all to the country. So that is something that we still challenge with. I think that there is no fire truck on Pity Matlick currently, and I know that there is none operational for the fire department, but there is one at the airport in Carriacou. So I know that is something that I think some mention have been made about trying to have that issue rectified. But that has been a constant area of weakness for us over those years in terms of our response to fires and able to deal with, persons with losses through homes and fires. So I just wanted to score that. Yes, while we have achievements, there are some things that some areas in which we believe that we we could have done some more work on.
All
so
right.
That's what I just wanted to.
I also wanted to talk about the economic growth of the Sister Isle over the years, of course the reign of the new National Party in terms of their fortune. How would you rate the economic growth of the Sister Isle of Carriacou, Pitty, Martinique, and the reign of the new National Party? I mean, we cannot rate the growth now in reference to the new administration. They only been in less than, of course, going to be 2 years in a couple of weeks from now. But during the NMP reign, and of course, how would you rate the economic growth of the Sister Isle of Carriacou? You being a resident of the island, how have you rate the economic growth of the islands?
I believe that we would have done a fantastic job because economic growth is relevant to a number of initiatives. It has to do with how people have an opportunity to, in terms of educational development, an opportunity to be able to access jobs, an opportunity for business to grow and expand and to start new businesses, and also health and welfare. And I believe that we would have done quite a reasonably good job in those areas in terms of sustaining and developing and improving and investing in those areas over the years. And that has grown so much that we would have seen new businesses evolve, more homes being built, the construction sector growing quite a bit. Also, what has grown a lot in Carriacou, the real estate sector in terms of rental of villas, and so that has grown as well over the years, and that is as a result of our economic policies, and we can go back to one of our main economic policies in terms of our citizenship by investment program, which we received a lot of criticism for. Numerous criticism, and in some cases, visible demonstration as regards to CBI. And today, we are hearing that a different tune has been sung about what CBI means for Grenada. And it's the same tune that we've been singing for years. And so it's only now that when they get in office, they realize what we have been saying. And now they are saying the same thing that we have said. You know, while the program would have been very successful and support the economic development of our country, there's one thing that we have always understood, that it is not sustainable and it will only be there for a time. So we have to be mindful of that and to look at different economic policies and to implement other initiatives that will create revenue generation opportunities for the state.
All right. Local government has always been a conversation that's been raised by, of course, individuals representing the Sister Isle of Carriacou. From reading, go back, of course, to the late Evan Nimrod, to, of course, Matron and so forth. We always hear talk about local government. Why haven't we seen or haven't heard much done for it in the reign of the new National Party, especially for the Sister Isle of Carriacou? What's your take on that in terms of local government?
Well, first of all, local government is cited in our constitution, and at the time, our policy and approach on local government was one that the manner in which local government was intended for. At the time, it was thought of because circumstances would have changed. We were saying that there is an opportunity for it to happen, but it cannot happen in the same manner as which it was intended for, because at the time you now have a Ministry for Carriacou and Diplomatic Affairs. You also have where there was the intention was that customs would have fallen under local government, Port Authority would have fallen under local government. But if you notice, those operations fall under statutory bodies. So you would have to sever those from the statutory bodies and place those responsibilities within the hands of the local government. There are some other challenges with that because we would have probably signed onto certain conventions. There are certain other legal things. And so I think from our assessment, it was probably not the right construct. But we have never be, I wouldn't say that we'll never say that local government is not a possibility. But in the construct that which it was sold at the time, which it was being really represented, we saw it as one being difficult to implement based on the current institutions and the current construct of the operations of government at the time. So that is what I know from our discussions on it and my interactions with persons on it. But this government is the NDC government is the one who actually run a local government, and we in Carriacou run a local government, and so I haven't really heard anything substantive from them regarding local government more than there is work on legislation or something of the sort. I know that the former NDC government under George Prime, who was the Senator at the time, extensive consultations were done. A number of bills, I think bills were drafted. I was part of one of the consultations, and a number of people asking questions, how it will work, how things will. So there were still some gray areas. So it was not implemented. There is also a cost issue. There is going to be some cost implications for operating another institution. So that is something that the government will have to take into consideration. But the NDC government is the one who has pushed it. But I haven't seen anything substantive from the Ministry of Carriacou and Diplomatic Affairs regarding the implementation of local government. I haven't seen anything. But I think the last presentation from the Minister for Carriacou, I think he did say that local government will happen. He's going to implement local government. So we are waiting to see what form it's going to take, what structure. We're waiting to see. We're hoping that there will be more consultations on it so that people will be more abreast and have buy-in, because you must have buy-in for things to work and to ensure that it works seamlessly with the Ministry of Carriacou and Diplomatic Affairs. Oh. And I see this in the context that the Ministry of Carriacou and the constituency of Carriacou and Diplomatic is one in the same. Like, for example, in Grenada, you have a Ministry of Health that has no tie towards the constituency of St. George. It has no tie to Wharf. It has no tie to St. Patrick's in a way, in the sense that it just solely focuses on that parish. But Ministry of Health focuses on everything. While in Carriacou, the Ministry of Carriacou and Diplomatic Affairs is tailored specifically for Carriacou and Diplomatic. So there are going to be some conflict once you're bringing in some kind of governance structure, which local government is desirous of doing, some governance structure to deal with some of the matters that the ministry is actually dealing with now, which means that some of those responsibilities will have to be removed from the governance of the authority of the permanent secretary and transferred, the permanent secretary and the minister, and transferred to a local government authority. So that is something that they will have to present to the public how they are going to do it. So I'm just waiting and looking to see what is going to happen. Okay. I know that local government is present in some other territories, like in Tobago, the Bahamas, Jamaica also have some construct of local government as well. All
right. Senator Cox, we drew for a break again. Let's take it and we come back. When we come back, we're still going to continue our focus on the 40th anniversary of the new National Party and talk some more. Probably there's some more of the achievements that we may have not spoken about. We certainly will come back on that when we return in the next segment. We also invite to call some of our listeners and viewers if you do have a question or two as relates to the new National Party 40th anniversary and, of course, on achievements. Maybe Senator Cox may have missed something. As he said, you've only been around for 10 years. So they probably missed something that they may remember they could tell you about. We'll be right back when we'll be right back. Stay with us, folks. Don't touch it dial. The reason is me.
I want you to control your anger. There's a way to feel better. That's one thing to remember. No matter where you are, you can be a star. Stop and take a deep breath.
Coming up, Barbados is heating up with enhanced attractions and hotel properties. World Cup cricket's touching down in the Caribbean. And Trinidad and Tobago is ready in the food department. A year's worth of beaches and more. We're talking about the Antigua and Barbuda experience. The rising stars of the track and the pool. Caribbean Village cricket. There's endless action on and off the field. It's all next on this station.
Whoa, whoa. Rock the box, we say, yeah. GBN, we say, arts and culture living, yeah. Rock the box, we say. I'm telling you, rock the box, rock the box, rock the box, we say. I'm telling you, rock the box, rock the box, rock the box, we say. We'll be jamming here on a Thursday. It's a
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. It's To The Point here on, of course, Classic Radio, GBN TV. Good morning to those of you via our social media platforms. So let's say welcome back to Senator Cox. I did invite, of course, listeners and viewers this morning. If you do have a question or two you may like to ask Senator Cox this morning as relates to the New National Party 40th anniversary. Senator Cox, before we start entertaining the calls this morning, one of the achievements I would like to hear from you this morning as it reference to the New National Party there, the achievements of the New National Party in Carrick over the 40 years. It's tourism. The thought of it just comes to mind. Speak to me a bit of some of the achievements that the New National Party made in reference to tourism over the last 40 years as a reference to the sister isle of Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
Well, as you know, tourism is basically a soft development in the sense that what you have a lot of more private people doing investment in tourism. What we would have done, I think one of the great things that we have done is to create what you call an investment opportunity. So there is what you have an investment policy. So persons who are willing to invest in tourism, they're able to receive certain concessionary benefits, certain things to facilitate, to help them to make those investments. I did mention that we had a tourism welcome center in Hillsborough. That was one of the things. And the works were done on the various sites, tourism sites for development. So those are continuous things. So those are small things. In terms of work, in terms of service for the port, that is also assisting towards tourism. The road network, all those things are basically tailored towards development of tourism when you look at it. So there is not basically directed to tourism, but a number of things will contribute towards building and boosting tourism in Carriacou. For example, the discussion that we had on the larger aircraft coming to Carriacou and who was actually responsible for it. I really want to go into a debate this morning on that, but that again is an achievement of ours in terms of having a larger plane coming to Carriacou through negotiations as a Minister for Transport at the time. That was part and parcel of the negotiations. So I'm well aware of what really transpired and how we arrived at the pricing and the concessions that the government was able to give in terms of how we approached it. Approached a similar model as how we approached the larger airlines in terms of a certain amount of seats were guaranteed, and then anything below that, then we will have to chip in. So that was the approach that we took in dealing with that larger plane coming to Carriacou.
All right.
And so, yes, in that regard, that is what I could recollect. There might be other stuff that I may have forgotten.
All right.
There are a number of private initiatives in terms of hotels, restaurants, or so. I wouldn't do persons. We create the economic environment, and persons invest. So I think that is, in a sense, that is our achievement in giving persons the confidence that they could invest at the time while we are governing. I think that says a lot.
All right.
But there are plenty of other things.
Because I also wanted to ask, 40 years of the new National Party, 40th anniversary coming up in terms of lots of the achievement. What more would you have liked to have seen the new National Party do? For you, from your own personal perspective, what would you have liked to see the new National Party have done more for the Sister Isle of Carriacou in their reign? What would you have liked to see on a personal level? Before we do entertain, I know we have a few calls coming in.
Right. So I did mention one of the things is that our response to fires. I think that is a major area of weakness and still continue to be one for us.